Join Sean and Brad as they talk about sports and share a beer. From the east coast of Canada to the west coast of the United States. Over to you, boys.
Everybody, what's good with you? Hey, Sean and Brad, Guys Beer Sports, episode 17, season 2. We're seeing the sports world kind of grind down to a halt. This is Independence Day weekend, Canada Day weekend, however you want to view it. I view it both ways in my house because, we're a multi citizenship having family in this house. So I guess it's like Shaughnessy, right? So we celebrate all the weekends. So happy Canada Day to my Canadian family and happy Independence Day to you find Americans trying to blow your fingers off in celebration this weekend. It's the most American thing you can do.
That was the one thing. The one thing I miss out there, Whippy, is you guys going crazy with it. Crazy.
Yeah, well, nothing like it's natty lights and fireworks, buddy. It's a combination of freedom.
Yeah,
or incarceration, as the case may be. It just depends on how far you go, right? It's the everyone's got a line. Everyone's got a line. Speaking of lines, shout out to our sponsors, Flyers. It's good to see them back in business and thriving. So, you get to wait a couple minutes for a table, but they'll get you in. Their service is great as always. Very efficient, very fast. Flyers Brewery, corner of Highway 20 and Woodby Ave in Oak Harbor. Outside seating, indoor seating, plenty of specials. They got a great prime rib dip. Their burgers are fantastic. They got wings. They got whatever you want. Brew their beer in house, always on tap. So shout out to Tony and his crew and all the things they do. Thanks for rocking with us. We support you.
Yeah, man. And let's give a little shout out there to Smooth My Balls. Brad, I'm telling you, get those clippers.
Yep. Yeah, I got a pair. They're fantastic. They do the job.
They're awesome. It's and like you said, if you're not right everywhere, you're just not going to be right.
That's right.
It's not going to be right.
You walk different when you're right. That's the thing. Is a confident man is a groomed man.
Do you think the Bee Gees in the 70s were doing that there when they came up with that song?
Yeah.
Staying Alive?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe they had sideburns cut in, but there was, they were still lined up.
It was the 70s.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to give a quick shout out there to Brian's Barbershop out on 799 Sackville Drive in Lower Sackville. Thank you, Brian. Did me up. Thank you. He made fun of me.
We follow up the Smooth My Balls with the Sackville reference. It's fantastic.
Well, he just made fun of me relentlessly there. Yeah, Sackville. He made fun of me relentless when I told him, it's like I did my own hair. He goes, no, really?
Yeah. No, he said, no shit. I saw it as soon as you closed the door to your car. You're walking around with that jagged ass hairline. I can't believe you did anything.
Yeah, he managed to work a miracle here. Man, like you said,
so how much is it going to take for you to shave that thing into a mohawk at some point? Like, what's the deal there?
Maybe when I'm out of the military. It won't take much.
There you go. Be like an old wrestler.
Yeah. I mean,
hold on to the mohawk.
The problem is that like now as I'm getting older, I find more people are maybe it's just because I smile a lot more, but they're very friendly and nice towards me, when I was younger and a little bit more jacked, maybe I wasn't smiling as much. It was not quite the same feeling.
Well, how you present yourself usually is how people respond to you.
When you're being the Fijian warrior.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would imagine that the happiness people are showing you is probably in relation to how groomed you stay, right? And people can just tell.
You mean groomed like here, or are you talking?
No, everywhere else.
You meant
you're
it.
Not
okay.
hot and sticky. Your personality's not hot and sticky either. You know what I mean? You're just nice and smooth.
The guy's smooth. There's something different about him.
Yep. You see a guy that's cruising, smooth, and without a care in the world when everyone else is freaking out. You're like, well, that guy. Yep. That guy's a shave my balls customer.
Smooth.
Smooth as eggs.
What is going on with these Stanley Cup finals? Oh my gosh.
Oh, I mean, I think you're seeing, this is, I don't remember what Tampa Bay was ranked coming out of the regular season, but it was top 3, probably.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Easily.
Okay. So you're taking a top 3 team against.
I don't even know about top 3. But they'd be top 5.
Okay. Well, you can look at it and I'll say what I have to say. You have this team that was ranked 18th. That's a Cinderella story, right? And they did everything right through the first 3 series of the playoffs.
Right.
Everything. The goaltender played to his best ability. I won't say out of his mind because we know he's capable of that. And they kept their mistakes to a minimum, which is how you win in sports, right? Is you have your star player playing to the best of his ability and the rest of the team not making mistakes and capitalizing where they can. And that's what the Montreal Canadiens did through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now they've run into a team that's very talented and they've gotten loose. And whether or not they read their own press or they just the stigma of, oh, we can't believe we made it this far, because I don't think that they really cared going into Vegas that's where they made it. They didn't care. But I think the finals are a bigger stage, brighter lights. You're not even seeing the Montreal Canadiens necessarily being outplayed as much as you're seeing them make mistakes that are being capitalized on.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. They're not necessarily being outplayed, right? It's a game of, inches for these guys for real, because you're seeing mental errors that the Lightning are capitalizing on, which is what their MO is. That they've won, the Tampa Bay Lightning since like 2015 have won 27 more playoff games than everyone else.
Yeah.
They're averaging 9.9 wins a playoff season since 2015. That's 6 years.
That's right, because they've been making it to the conference finals, and they were always a perennial cup
You're
contender.
winning almost 10 games of playoff run.
Yeah.
You're
Which
winning
you need
series.
16. You need 16 to win it all. But yeah, you're right. They're making deep
runs. But if
runs.
you're averaging 10,
you're putting things together. You understand how to win. And when you're being given these gifts, and I think that, Montreal's really got to stack up and go, and they've got to win at least one game. They hopefully will win two. Because
I don't think so. I think it's sweep city, man. I do.
I'm saying they need to. I'm not saying they're going to.
Yeah.
They need to for their own sake, because getting swept in a series like that, in a championship series, historically never works well for any sport.
Oh, no.
Look at the teams in the Super Bowl that got beat 28-3. Look at the teams that get swept in the NBA. Look at the Major League Baseball, when it goes 4-0. Like, you have to win a game for you to build on that for the next year. And that's where Montreal find themselves right now. Are they going to win the Cup? Man, no.
So here's a couple of things for me here is that you have two teams that wouldn't necessarily, like right now in the Stanley Cup Finals, that would actually probably would have met each other in the first round if there was a playoff, because they were both in the same division. If it wasn't COVID, right? If there was no North Division, none of this East, West, Central. So that's strange thing there. You can see that the tempers are boiling because these two teams know each other. They play each other a lot, just as not this past season. When I was just looking at, because we were just talking, I was having a look at the standings. Lightning were in third in their division. So they were behind the Panthers and the Hurricanes. But they were still, pretty decent. They're still 16 points ahead of Montreal as far as what the whole entire regular season standings were. The Islanders, they were in fourth in their division. So the only team that was in that Final Four that was anything up there was, and they were runner-ups to the Colorado Avalanche, was the Golden Knights at 82 points. And then Montreal bringing it in at 59. So, yeah, you have all those things that you just stated. The defense on Tampa Bay is stellar. Vasilevsky is better than Carey Price right now at this moment.
Yeah, in this series, for sure.
Yeah, he is
I thought it was interesting. Carey Price's press conference was, "I have to be better," and he just got up and walked away. That was his entire. He wasn't taking any questions. It wasn't "we have to be better." It was "I have to be better," and then that was out. He probably should have said, I appreciate the segment. He's a leader, right? He knows that, that's how he views it. But
I feel bad for him.
They can't. They're put well, and it's not even necessarily. I think that he's playing poorly.
No,
his team is just putting him in terrible decisions. The one thing though that we are seeing is that he's not eating up rebound shots like he was. But maybe that's just he's just seeing so many that he's just you can't stop them all, right? That's the thing.
You have a look at the way Tampa's just going out there. They're not even getting the most shots in the game. It's like Montreal's getting the most chances, but Tampa just exposes whatever mistakes.
I think though that Tampa's getting the most quality shots though, because Montreal's just giving it up at just inopportune times, right? There's just these weird lapses of in-game awareness that is happening that they're just not getting. They're giving it up too easily to the Tampa Bay folks, and they're capitalizing on it, and that's just what's eating it. That's the thing.
But it just shows you like how much being a champion and being able to get through to here, having that championship caliber, because most of that team is still the same team.
Yeah.
That team is all Steve Yzerman built, really. I mean, except for a couple of things here and there. It's a great team. They're going to have a good run. It's going to be interesting though, because there's a lot of because like with the NHL, like with free agency, it's not the same as any other sports where there's like a luxury tax or a fine or something like that. Yeah. Like you have to stay under the salary cap, and so it's going to be interesting coming up with the Leafs, the Lightning, teams like that. They're going to have.
I had a good chuckle this morning. I was reading some of the deals that the NHL players are signing, these massive deals, and they're 8 years, $40 million. I was like,
yeah. Listen, man, if you're making 12,
it's nothing to scoff at, right?
You're making 12 a season. I mean, really, that's still in the same sort of lines as like the
No, it's 8 years for $40 million, man. I don't know where your math is at, but it's 5.
No, I know. Well, that's like that's five. That's 5 per, right? So that he's a run of the. He's like mid line. You got guys though that are like Tavares, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews. They're signing 12 mil a season, 10 mil a season. Which is a relief feature in baseball. But that's it. Baseball, football too, man. I mean, ever since why can't I think of Kansas City's quarterback Mahomes signed that huge deal? I mean, the world of sports has changed financially.
Well, we saw DeAndre Hopkins get his deal. It sounds like Devontae Adams is going to try to dwarf that deal at $27 million a season, which is
crazy
when you think about that in real dollars. It's fascinating. Fascinating to watch. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe we shouldn't put the NHL, or Major League Soccer in those same expectations of those big sports, because the money's not following the production, so to speak, right?
No, but I think viewership's been up this year, and I think it's going to continue.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just my thought is from a production standpoint, and from a quality of presentation, that maybe our expectations shouldn't be as high because the dollars don't equate.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing what ESPN's going to do with the NHL, because I think they're going to do a great job making it into a great product.
It's going to be groundbreaking, Sean.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking, because they have all the ability from all these other sports to be able to bring that in and turn that around.
Absolutely. And I think the NHL,
they're the innovators, right? They're the innovators. I don't know if
absolutely.
I don't know if you have this ability in Canada, but they've got 3 or 4 different feeds you can watch games on.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean,
you can watch an above the rim feed on basketball. You can watch a courtside view.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've been seeing that too. It's like the different, like, I don't know, there's a zip line going on, but it seems like you're on the ice in some of that stuff. I've never seen it.
I think they took that technology from football. They got that camera ESPN does that runs on a zip line above the ice or above the field and follows it, and that's really fun to watch. Yeah,
it's definitely making.
You see how great face-offs are going to be with that camera over the top like that. Like it's phenomenal.
It's like an old movie. Just about, you know what I mean? Like old hockey movie.
Even just watching the NBA playoffs, like when there's a question of who the ball went out of bounds, you can see 9 different angles of it.
Yeah. Man, so speaking about the NBA playoffs, there, I let's get to that in a second. You're cracking now. I've been hearing it's so funny. I've been looking at social media. A lot of people are actually a little bit worried about your head coach there. It's crazy.
Worried how?
So
like he's going to build a juggernaut that's going to sweep the whole team and pull them under and just be the dominant force for 10 years.
You know what? I mean, there's a strong possibility. He's the last coach that actually brought Philadelphia into the postseason there and did something with them. So, but there's some people just saying, why are we hired Hacksaw, blah, blah, blah. I say give the guy a chance. You never know. Like,
it's hard when you have expansion team fan bases because not everyone is as versed in hockey as you would maybe like them to be.
Yeah, but here's
that's what I found. I've been interacting with some of these, some of the fan pages that are out and around, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, your experience with hockey is at a much higher level than mine is. Higher meaning higher elevation,
right.
And again, fifth favorite sport, right? I don't feel like I'm more qualified, but I'm more qualified in some venues than I am in others.
Like I'm looking at Hacksaw.
But everyone's thinking that though. Like, I mean, everyone's making a big deal about coaches and all those things, and it's across the board. Like no matter what you do as an organization anymore in any sport, when you hire a coach, you're always going to hear, whatever, right? And who knows? Who knows? That's the thing. You're seeing it with the Dallas Mavericks and Jason Kidd and, Portland signing Chauncey Billups and all this stuff. And what Boston's doing with their front office and their coaching staff. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? You know what? Like Greg Popovich, who's the fantastic coach of the San Antonio Spurs, no one like that hired back in the 90s either. But guess what? One of the best basketball coaches ever.
That's it.
Shut your mouth. You don't know what you're doing.
What I love here,
I'm a guy who talks about sports on weekends, right? Like that's my thing. So
what I do love though is that somebody made a very, very educated comment about this. Is that Seattle coming in is going to have two automatic rivalries, Los Angeles and Vancouver.
Yeah.
Automatic. They could be competitive, as competitive or maybe even more so than both those teams coming in.
Yeah, you can't discount what the Vegas rivalry will be either.
No, and Vegas being a few hours away, absolutely, it's another rivalry. But I'm just looking at that. I guess that north-south, that north-south there.
Corridor. Yeah. It's the same rivalry that Seattle had when Vancouver had a basketball team.
Right, right.
Just up and down that I-5. That West Coast is always going to be, we all love the West Coast, but we all only love our certain part of the West Coast when it comes down to it.
Hey, if you have an edge over two teams going in, and the thing is that right now, I mean, you're one of the front runners for Duncan Keith, Chicago's defenseman, looking to come out to the West Coast there. And they're looking at Winnipeg, Vancouver, Seattle, the Kings. So
only really considered.
I know Winnipeg is more central than it is west, but yeah.
Not about a lot of waterfront there in Winnipeg, but maybe. Maybe.
You know who loves Winnipeg? Brock Lesnar.
Oh, it's all I need to know.
Yeah.
All I need to know.
Listen, I'm excited for Seattle. Seattle's going to have a really good team.
You need another team to root for.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, I love Ron Francis. He's there building your team. You got a good team. It's well, I mean, the potential for a good team, so we'll see what happens
with one player on the roster.
So far. Yeah.
I would say we're not necessarily, it's interesting. I guess I hadn't really thought about the, how it'll shake out, but the West will be interesting. The Kings will have that. We have San Jose and Anaheim would also be. I mean, I don't know, they're not good now, but.
Well, that's it. Is a San Jose and Anaheim.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's funny that nobody even is mentioning them because really, I mean, they're not threatening at this moment.
Yeah.
But having said that, who knows? I mean, free agency. That's the other thing about Canada Day. Usually it's free agency for hockey. COVID's thrown that all off.
Oh, interesting.
Our first goals in a July month happened. So in the NHL. So so it's interesting.
I thought there wasn't there hockey last July?
No, it came back in August. They did yeah. So meaningful hockey being played in July. Now it's like every month has been some meaningful hockey in the past couple of years. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a good come up there to see what's happening here. You're gonna see teams trying to juggle with salary. You're gonna see a new team trying to build.
Well, expansion drafts are always fascinating to me.
I love them. Yeah.
Always interesting who they, because there's some of it like, well, we like this guy, but we're also overpaying him, so we'll see if we can dump him.
That's it. And then somebody gets screwed somewhere.
Yeah.
Man, Chris Paul, how many years has he been in? Is this his first finals?
I've been hating Chris Paul.
Is it his first finals appearance?
First finals appearance.
That's crazy.
And really, with the injuries, I think that Phoenix is probably the favorite over Atlanta if Atlanta can get by Milwaukee.
I don't think Atlanta's getting by Milwaukee.
I said if. They would be the favorites over Milwaukee if Giannis can't go. And I don't know. You have to wonder about, we saw this a couple years ago when Kevin Durant was in Golden State and they rushed him back from an injury. And then we saw him hoop amazingly for a little bit of that game.
40 points. He had 40 points in that game.
And then all of a sudden, roll up city, the Achilles goes out for the year. No small secret. A lot of people feel like that injury was caused because they rushed him back from a knee injury. Was
it the organization that rushed him back, or himself, or a combination of both?
So what the story has come out to be is that he wanted to come back and the organization held him off and then finally relented because they also realized they needed him to win. So I don't think anyone has any poor feelings on how it happened. I think just as from a risk management standpoint, I think you have to wonder about, that's always every game that you put somebody out there, there's a risk for injury, right?
Absolutely.
That's the nature of sport. But if someone is compromised already and it's your star player, there was a lot of things that went into that Golden State decision that aren't in play here, which is Kevin Durant re-signing to stay in Golden State and how desperately they probably felt like they wanted him to.
Yeah.
Giannis is in Milwaukee for a while. He's not leaving. So you have to balance that. You have to say, okay, they say no structural damage, but some bruising, who knows how accurate those things end up ever really being. I don't know if you saw the injury happen, but there was a definite hyperextension that looked terrible in the moment. I don't know that maybe he can come back in time for a couple of games in the finals if they go that far, but you got to wonder if, Phoenix doesn't take advantage of it. And I think Phoenix is the 1 seed. I think they had a better record than the East.
They did. Yeah.
So first couple games in Phoenix, it'll be interesting to see how it comes together. But
it's interesting though. Yeah. Because
I think Milwaukee comes away. I don't think Atlanta has enough horses to get it done.
Yeah.
They probably had enough horses with a healthy Young, but man, a foot injury for a point guard is very difficult.
That's it. Now, it's amazing what you just stated all there, because you would think that people would be learning about rushing players back, like RG3.
Yeah.
Against the Seahawks that year, his first year. Remember that?
Yeah.
He was pretty much injured. He came back and then tore his knee up in that playoff game.
That playoff game took 2 ACLs. Chris Clemens was in that game too and also destroyed his ACL. That field was unfit to play on probably.
Yeah.
I would say that was less of them rushing Robert Griffin back and more of it being a field condition.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you would think, but that's the thing is everyone thinks, that's the nature of sport is that you see this guy who's talented
and every coach and GM thinks that they can get more out of that player. And so that's why you see teams take flyers on guys that maybe haven't reached what, the perceived expectation of them is and all those things. So they always are thinking that they're, that they've done the most to get somebody prepared for the moment, and that they're, taking the precautions, and that they're, all those things. And, sometimes there's some oversight there. But yeah, it's interesting to see. There's a lot of people clamoring for, these injuries could have been avoided by the NBA if they would have not tried to rush this season out to get the next year back on track, which is essentially what they did.
Well, especially when I was hearing that the NBA was trying to find people for keeping their top players out on those must see.
They were trying to balance people being involved in the games and not, and that's what they were trying. They should have just left it alone, probably at the involving 10 teams in the playoffs, because we saw that really mattered. Right? That was probably more influential than resting players, and maybe take another year of the schedule not being exactly on time. We're going to see this next year because you've got 12 guys playing in the Olympics right now.
Yep.
Not getting any rest. They're going to come back. Season's going to start on time in the end of October, which is not a lot of rest. Those guys should have been done by now anyway. So I don't think this is the only year we're going to see injuries. I think next year is another year for injuries.
Do you think that this season probably had something to do with Kawhi Leonard's?
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it had something to do with LeBron being the way he was in a way. I thought I think all those things are that way. Like the Trae Young thing is, rolling his foot on the refs. I don't know that necessarily is different. But
Kawhi was coming out. You could see it. He was like, I'm taking this team on my back. And then he got injured because
that knee to knee with the way that when it happened, watching it live, I thought that there was some serious, you don't react. It's all in the reaction, right? That's what you've got to watch when someone gets hurt, is how the reaction is.
Yeah. How many seasons has it been since his reconstruction? It's
not been many. It's been enough, but not very. Probably 4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. It's it hasn't been that long.
Yeah,
that it won't take much to redo it. I would imagine, re-tear it or anything.
Yeah, well, typically they say that when you have the full replacement, like he did with the cadaver Achilles or ACL, that it's stronger than it was naturally.
Wow.
But
well,
who knows? It's very difficult to see. And it's interesting to me in basketball. We're starting to see maybe a little bit more now, but it's been largely frowned upon to have braces and those things, where in football it's pretty standard practice to keep some kind of knee sleeve on, or some kind of compression. So be interesting to see if guys with ACL injuries go back to it.
I'm just I'm excited to see what free agency brings in the NBA as well.
Yeah.
Because Kawhi's a free agent unless he resigns.
He's not going to resign. If I shouldn't say it. He might resign for the Clippers, but it won't be a player option. He has the player option to sign in for them.
Yeah.
He's not taking that deal.
Oh, no.
He's going to get a long-term deal from somebody, and it's going to be. I don't know that he's loved how it's gone for the Clippers. I don't know that it's been everything he thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I know in Toronto, he's regarded as, a saint, really.
Poor DeMar DeRozan got the shaft in that deal.
He sure did. Yeah. And I see him working in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad player at all.
DeMar DeRozan is a fantastic player.
Yeah.
Couldn't get him over the hump.
But I would make that deal too to get Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Time and time again.
You can't fault it.
And at the end of the day, that's what sports is. It is business. You want to win.
More so now than ever. We were even seeing it in the college ranks, right? Where they have that now where the players can sign and they can get paid for autographs and endorsements and copyrights for their likenesses. So their jersey sales they'll get a hold of. We have some college athletes that are going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars every year.
You know what the sad thing is that you're going to have somebody there, like old school guy, back in the day when,
I'm that guy. I could be that guy. Think about watch the 30 for 30 ESPN did on Michigan, and those guys not having to scrape together money for a pizza. They're like the most popular athletes in the world at that point. It's unfair, but
does that mean it has to keep going like that? Like, you know what I mean?
It doesn't, and that's always my conversation when we talk about other social change. People are like, oh, well, it must be not. You know what? It is nice. It's nice for them. Thanks for paving the road. You did something good in the world, right?
Absolutely.
You have these for-profit universities that are taking advantage of students, hand over fist, and just regular students. Interest rates on college loans are terrible. You're telling me at 18 years old, you're going to sign up for a 30-year commitment on a $200,000 education that's not going to get you anywhere?
That's it.
That's gross. That interest on that debt should be forgiven. That debt necessarily shouldn't be forgiven, but the interest should be, because it's bullshit. And the people that are like, well, I wish I could have happened. Yeah, great. Wrong time, son. That's just the way of the world.
Yeah.
It's the way that it's the time you're born, all those things. You shouldn't begrudge fairness to somebody else because you didn't get it. That's gross.
Well, that's it. It's gross. It's
especially with the timing thing. I guess if it's the same thing, right, you should begrudge it. That's fair, right? But to be like, oh, I wish I would, whatever. Come on.
It's so funny because the whole entire evolution of sport, when you have a look at it, these guys had to have second jobs beforehand. You know what I mean?
That's in my lifetime. I'm turning 42 in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
In my lifetime, there's been football players that were bagging groceries or selling cars on the off season because they couldn't make enough money playing a sport that now the minimum salary for an NFL veteran is $1 million for a year. That's life-changing money for most people if you handle it correctly.
Yeah. But that's the thing is that, people will be upset about that too. It's like, oh, they're getting paid too much. Oh, there's this that's happening. There's that's happening.
Yeah.
But, I was talking to one of my buddies there. We're talking about pro wrestling. And it's funny because it's like, if you have a look at pro wrestling now, it's soft. To him, it's soft. And he's got something to say there because it's true. It's like, it's a lot more controlled and there's a lot more padding and but they've come a long way after seeing what CTE and the injuries that can happen, and you're working 330 days. Yeah. So same thing with hockey, same thing with all that. It's like,
it's even recovery, right? I mean, you're talking about in our lifetime, in the 90s, you've got guys traveling in those gigs in those small town circuits for wrestling, all packed in a Toyota Camry or something, you know what I mean? And staying in Motel 6s and trying to find the edge they can get. And, that was the move. And that makes a very entertaining person because they're trying to get that. When the high paying jobs are very few and the suck jobs are plentiful, you'll do whatever it takes to get there. Right.
Do you know,
baseball, that's why we saw a lot of steroid use in the late 90s.
Heck yeah.
And then because everyone needed the edge because that's what was going to get them over.
Exactly. I wrestled a match for $40.
Was that your highest paying match? Was that your highest paying match?
It was not my highest paying match. No.
Did they provide you with your banana hammock, or did you have to bring your own?
I had to bring my own.
They wouldn't bedazzle it. Is that why? Or
yes. The thing is, though, that there's these guys still out there busting it. You know what I mean? Still doing that to get up there.
I remember seeing something. It was I'm gonna butcher what her name is. Her name is Becky. That
Becky Lynch.
Girl. Yeah,
Becky Lynch.
And she said the one time that she wrestled for 2 cheeseburgers and a Diet Coke.
Yeah,
that was her first paid match, and she thought she was doing something.
Yeah, it's great that they are looking after these athletes.
Well, that's the power of fame, though, right? Everyone just wants to, they want the crowd reaction. That's what's so great about live sport.
Yeah. Well, now I think the WWE is going on the road starting this month. They're starting their whole entire, so they're starting back with live audience and everything. They're going to get a good pop. They've had a year and a bit just working in Tampa, or is it Orlando? Orlando. It is Tampa. I'm sorry. It is Tampa.
Yeah.
Anyway, Florida.
Tom Bradyville. They've been
but they haven't had to travel anywhere. They've been working right there, homes right there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's been good for them.
What do you think their attendance has been in these matches? Do you think it's drawn well?
Are you talking about like online when you see everybody on the screens, or?
Just they've had people in the building.
AEW has WWE only. Their only one that they had anybody in there was WrestleMania in Tampa, and they drew. They was packed.
Well, that's why I wonder if they see a shift in their business model, right?
Well,
we can draw everywhere.
Yeah,
they draw here. People will travel here for these big events. We could maybe put a better product on if we can control the environment more.
Well, that's it. And then now they're about to go back on the road. So I mean, there becomes variables then at that point where you're going to be seeing, well,
yeah, but you look at the UFC models that way too, right? Like, championship fights are rarely outside of Vegas anymore, right?
Yeah.
If you're a top tier UFC fighter, you're only fighting in Vegas.
But the thing is that with wrestling is that you have your like in-house shows. Blackout shows that aren't on TV because they're wrestling 330 days a year. They're traveling everywhere. Right. They're doing all this. Although this past year and a half, no, it's just been Monday Night Raw, and they had to let go of a whole bunch of people on the roster because, let's face it, there's only so many mouths that you could end up pushing, right? Like so many people that you could feed. But now with them going on the road, they're going to end up like people want to watch it. They're going to watch it. But I guess people are, you compare 1998, which I did want to get into, by the way, but you compare the 90s, especially the late 90s, where you had all the blood and barbed wire and everything. And not to say that that's still not happening in the underground scene, but AEW and WWE, they know that, like, hey, listen, people aren't coming here to watch a death match. But when
they're misinformed. That's when people are.
Yeah.
They're just not getting it. They still are showing up hoping to see it.
Well, let's face it. 23 years ago, June 28th, 1998, Mick Foley, he took a dive twice in that Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker. And
how dare you?
What?
How dare you?
What are you talking about?
Make it sound like The Undertaker didn't win.
The Undertaker won. Yeah,
fair and square.
He did.
He's a better wrestler than Mick Foley. You got your rose-colored glasses on because Mick Foley said something to you.
Listen, Mick Foley, I have all the respect in the world for to take those two. Those are two massive bumps.
Yep.
Going through the Spanish announce table. Tell me any other announce table that takes so much damage like the Spanish announce table.
We don't have enough time to unpack that, but that's...
And then goes through like that Hell in a Cell.
The English-speaking table should take some heat every once in a while.
You would think, right? Yeah. But like,
you want equality? Let's start there. Let's start the WWE with equality. Like, let's stop messing with the Spanish-speaking table.
You had to look at that cell 23 years ago, and you have a look at the Hell in a Cell that just happened a couple of weeks back. But this thing is reinforced steel. Yeah. That one, the things were coming apart. 600 pounds just on top of it. That was an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah. Well, anytime there is, that's real. It's real weight. You're not even reinforced steel. You're not. I don't think those wrestlers weigh that anymore. That's part of it, right?
That's it. Yeah.
I think 600 pounds is being generous because Mr. Foley was plus 3 bills.
At least. And
plus
man.
3 bills. And The Undertaker was every bit of 280. I met the guy in 2003, 2004, somewhere in that time frame, and homeboy was every bit of 280. I can't imagine he was less than that in his prime 5 years earlier. So
I would say it would have been a 320 at that point. You know what I mean?
That was probably closer to 700 pounds.
Yeah.
If you think we're splitting dice over 100 pounds here, folks, just go grab 100 pounds and then tell you what the difference is. That's 100 pounds is real weight. You're talking about stability,
But then you have a look at that. Like, here's a man, he gets upset that he's known for one match, which he's done much more than that, Mick Foley. But you have a look at that match. You don't
I feel like he was never consistent enough though with his personality to be like known for more than that.
Well, he had 3 personalities.
That's the hard part. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like it was hard to be, unless you were that way as a person, it was hard to be behind him as a fan.
Yeah.
I didn't mess much with Mick Foley, but that was because I had Stone Cold and The Rock and The Undertaker, like all these other just big,
But he made them better every time that
100%. I'm not. This is not me discounting Mick Foley.
Like he made them better.
I'm just saying, like I wasn't buying Mick Foley merchandise because I didn't know which one of it I was, and it just made me confused.
I just love the fact that if you want a guy to get a guy over, you put him in with Mick Foley, and one of the faces of Foley, you'll
Foley's like Trent Dilfer, right? Like you need him to win the championship.
Man, you're using Trent Dilfer way too much.
Tell me I'm wrong. Just tell me I'm wrong. I'll wait.
You're using Trent Dilfer way too much.
No, he's a lot. It works. It works.
No, he's a lot more than Trent Dilfer, man.
He's not. You're discounting Trent Dilfer.
He has a Super Bowl ring. What can I say? He does. Mick Foley has a WWE championship. He's more than Trent Dilfer, though, man. I mean, he just put one guy over, but he put several guys over, including Shawn Michaels. There were some great matches with him and Mankind.
Wow.
What? If you wanted a guy to get guaranteed he's going to get the stamp of approval, he's going to be a tough guy, you have him go against Mick Foley or The Undertaker.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong. You want a guy to have like automatic, hey, this guy is going to put some color in this match. This guy's going to come out and he is going to be now looking at a tough guy. Triple H. Who would have thought Triple H was a tough guy until he went up against Cactus Jack?
All right. Well, no one thinks Triple H is a tough guy now. Triple H was never a tough guy.
He just married well. Oh my gosh.
He married well and wasn't afraid of needles.
But
okay, real quick though, we'll talk about wrestling gets you excited, as it's very clear. How on a scale of 1 to 10, how close are you trying to rip your shirt right now? Like 7? I feel like every time your hand goes like this, you're just gonna they're calling everyone brother. Come back on. Season 3, Sean's gonna have a really shitty blonde wig on. It looks like. Speaking of really bad blonde wigs, did you see Lil Wayne run onto the court when Chris Paul went to the finals?
No, I totally missed that.
It's terrible. I thought, listen, no disrespect to Chris Paul's grandma, but I thought that's what it was. I thought Chris Paul was hugging his grandma because it was this really badly dyed blonde jumble of hair on top of this little person's head, and it turned out to be Lil Wayne. It's very disturbing.
You're killing me.
Little Wayne tracks now because I just can't get the image out of my head that looked like Chris Paul's grandma on the court. You got to go look at it. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Lil Wayne has reached Hulk Hogan status. He's just calling up one brother with a bad blonde wig.
You know what I can't get over though is like how many people are still like just enamored by some of these old time wrestlers there, and I'm wondering if any of these new guys, there has to be somebody buying their merchandise and going for them. You know what I mean?
100% is, and they'll 100% be. That's just the nature of sport.
That's right. That's it. Man,
everyone's got their fan bases and everyone's got their diehards, and that's if you reach that level, like you've got some kind of pull, right?
I would say
it's interesting.
Oh my gosh, you just. Yeah, I get excited about wrestling because it was something I was completely passionate about. Managed to do a few matches. It was fun. Hurt myself pretty bad. I had to make a life-changing decision and that's where the military comes in.
Yeah.
But I have all. I'll tell you what, man. I just have nothing but all the respect in the world for any of these guys that have to go through, because it's a real ringer to get through there, to get up to where you got to be.
Yeah. I think that's, if you're in front of a giant crowd at a professional level, like, you've made some sacrifices and done some things that other people aren't willing to do.
That's it.
It's not just talent that gets you to the top. It's drive.
And that's why it irritates me.
It's opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play.
It irritates me when you have people going, "Oh, they're getting paid all this just to play a sport. Just play a sport." Yeah. And it's like, yes, because they dedicated their life to that. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing as a CEO. It's the same thing as anything like that. You dedicate your life to it. And now, with the marketability of the athlete, knowing that they are marketable, heck, there's like so much riding on your name and on your talent.
Yeah. Well,
why wouldn't you take advantage?
The equity of being able to market yourself that we've got with social media now. There's
Absolutely.
so much more pop.
Absolutely. You could
become a guy this morning on Instagram kick a 70-yard field goal, and now a bunch of NFL players are like, somebody needs to sign this kid. Like, 70 yards, bro.
That's insane.
He lined it up for a 30-yard the other way, and then just turned around and just booed and just bombed it.
Wow.
I mean, it was good from 75. Like,
wow.
And it's probably not, I mean, it's always different kicking off a tee and with no rush and blah, blah, blah. But still, like, that guy's good from 65.
That's amazing.
On the reg, that's a big leg, man. You got to put him in if he's accurate. But that's the other thing, right? Who knows who's accurate?
Yeah.
Maybe he hits 1 out of 10, and that's not very good. But who knows? Hey, you ready for our one-on-one question of the week? I think it's fun.
Before that, I did want to get your thoughts on UFC 264 tonight.
Well, I mean, I think that's overshadowed. 264 is next week. So.
No, I think that's this week there.
July 10th. That's the Poirier.
Yeah. Sorry, that is next week. What am I doing to you?
The second week of firecrackers, folks, is what it would be. Stay tuned for next week to hear my commentary on what I think Poirier is going to do to McGregor, or vice versa, as it may be.
All right, let's do the one-on-one question. I completely messed this one up, didn't I? I didn't even have a look.
It was a good segue. We talked about fireworks twice. Special PSA, kids, listen, your fingers are worth more than celebrating your freedom. So just be safe with the fireworks tonight and try to cap by midnight for my old sake, because I can go till midnight. But listen, if you're blowing off at 2 a.m., I'm going to yell curse words at you out the window, because
Old man Tesh coming after you.
You're drunk. You're drinking beer out of a blue can, which no one should be doing. See, like, what do you think? What's the Bat Blue? Like, what's that? What's the equivalent of that in American beer? That's got to be like a Bud Light, right? It's not like a natural. It's not a natty, right? It's
Labatt Blue would be the same as Bush.
Yeah.
No, maybe a step up above that. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's Pabst Blue Ribbon? Where's that?
It's elite. It's definitely elite.
Pabst is elite?
Yeah, you got to be a confident drink Pabst. It is. Yeah, it's gross, but it's elite. It's one of those weird things. It's like caviar. It's like it's an acquired taste. Yeah, be able to wear like short jean shorts with the pockets showing out of the bottom of them.
Are you kidding me?
Boots. So you gotta hear me out on this. It's listen, not for everybody, but look, the guy that buys that on the reg is someone who's supremely confident. They may not be correct, but they're supremely confident. They got
a rat tail
showing their pockets. Yep, they've got a hairstyle that goes against the grain. They're wearing cowboy boots with shorts, no socks on. Their feet are just sweaty and gross.
You're absolutely right. They are a confident individual.
Yep. So it's just an elite thing like caviar. Just Pabst Blue Ribbon is the caviar beer.
Okay, so then we'll compare Labatt Blue then to Busch.
Budweiser. It's got to be Budweiser, right? Like a Bud Light.
I'd say Molson Canadian would be Budweiser. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have my taste backwards because I only drink Labatt's a Canadian beer. That's my thing. But I drink a lot of Budweiser. So
Yeah, I hate Labatt actually. So my buddy just brought it over for Canada Day, and you aren't getting rid of this.
yeah. There's only one way to get rid of it. Shotgun it down the hatch.
You're not getting rid of it. Hey man,
maybe that's the thing. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe next week we'll close the episode by shotgunning a beer. Well, how say you?
I have to have a bucket because there's a lot of carpet here, but I'm down. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, Joanna will have a freak show day on me there if I do that.
It's been a while since you shotgunned a beer. If you need
it has. It will be messy.
Fair enough. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. All right.
See how it goes.
Let's get to this one-on-one question here. You delinquent?
It's not even that delinquent of a question. This is a complete.
Oh, you're a delinquent. Want a shotgun beers?
Listen, if you don't like, listen. I'm telling you, the move is. This is the move. If you need to relax on a weeknight or just get the party started quickly, it's a Boilermaker, right? It's a shot.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about this.
I know. It's just a shot and then shotgun a beer. You'll be fine. You don't got to do nothing the rest of the night. You'll just cool out.
You don't have to do anything the rest of the night because you won't be able to move.
Exactly. It's good for everybody. Takes 45 seconds if you're with it. Like, it's easy. Just shotgun, see you later.
The first time you told me, it was like, I was your middle of the week move was a Boilermaker. And they're going,
don't knock it till you try it, homie. Don't knock it till you try it. That's all I'm saying.
That's like two dudes just walking in, Boilermaker.
Yeah, listen, I know it's a thing because every bar I go into, I ask for one, they don't even question it. They just say, oh, here you go. It's $8. Thanks, man.
What whiskey are you getting?
It all depends.
No. Don't just. I need to know.
I always default to Jameson.
Okay, all right. That's cool. I like that. I thought you were going to say Jack Daniels.
No, I haven't. Jack and I haven't danced for quite a while.
Sounds good.
Yeah, usually, Jack. I'll shoot Jameson if we're gonna drink it. I'm gonna sip on some basil or maybe some Johnny Blue or something. It's 40-year-old me can't just Jack in the Rocks anymore.
Oh no,
I can, but it's gonna be a long night.
I think Jack Daniels is the worst thing. And what do they call it? A bourbon? It's a bourbon, isn't it?
Yeah. You haven't had Jose Cuervo in a while. I think Jack Daniels is the worst thing. But
Jose Cuervo, we have not been acquaintances for a long time.
Yeah.
No.
For a reason.
Yeah. Now that The Rock has his own tequila out there.
Yeah, it's fantastic, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Terramana, I think is what it's called.
Man. So him and Clooney, are they the two going at it there? At their own?
It must be. I don't know.
Man, that's crazy. I have to try both. I don't know.
You got it. That Rock tequila is... Man, it's good. Top shelf.
Yeah, you getting a rock bottom from that?
If you put in a Boilermaker, you probably could.
That's the people's elbow.
Yeah. Knock the stress right out of your life.
The tequila's the rock bottom, and then the people's elbow to finish it.
A little shot of tequila, and a little, some kind of regular lager beer to shotgun.
That's it. There you go.
Man, you know what? This is off topic, but it takes a lot more work to make lagers than it is to make IPAs. Like a lot more. Do you know this?
I did not know that, but
I'll probably misstate these facts. So I was talking to a friend of ours who's a big brewer.
Tell me it was Tony.
Yeah, it was Tony.
No.
But he was telling me about how it's God damn, I'm gonna mess up. Sorry, Tony, in advance if I mess this up. But he was something like it takes twice the amount of product and almost twice. Like you can get one batch of lager for every 2 batches of IPA that you make.
Isn't that crazy? I would never imagine that.
That's why I thought that's why they're shoving all these IPAs down our throats because they make them faster. Because I appreciate a good lager, like I do. Like man, But I always feel like the minority because everyone's like, "Oh, IPA." I'm like, man, god damn.
Like an IPA
but
here and there.
That's why all the microbreweries popped up and all these people were that way. People just, But man, listen, folks, Get yourself a nice shot of liquor, that whatever you like, bourbon or whiskey or vodka or tequila, whatever it is. Single shot. Don't go crazy and get a double. Just get a single shot. Get yourself a good lager beer, and then just shoot it and chase it. It's fantastic. It'll cure all. And then stop there. Stop there. Go have dinner, hang out, watch a game. Call your friends, tell them you love them. You'll be relaxed. You're not going to care. You'll wake up fine the next day. Stop the silliness. Stop drinking all the sodas and the mixers and all that, whatever.
Soda it's no good.
No, it's good. Listen, shot, chase it with a lager beer, be done. Just call it a day. Stop with your 8.8%, whatever. Yeah.
These are Brad's pearls of knowledge.
Yeah.
We
all right, one-on-one question. If animals could talk, if they could talk, what animal would be the rudest?
What animal would be the rudest?
Yeah. Like per capita, like what animal would be the most rude person?
We're talking about just domesticated animals, or are we talking
all
about
animals? We can go all animals if you want to.
All right. Most rudest.
Yeah.
Say a squirrel.
Huh. Why? Why a squirrel?
Have you ever seen them? They're so territorial. They're so territorial. It's like
we got some squirrels in my backyard that are pretty fun. We call him Fat Squirrel. He's hilarious. He just taunts the dog. Just stays on the top row of the fence and just runs back and forth all day long, and just dog can't take it.
This is dickish.
I appreciate him getting the exercise for the dog. That's all I care about. He's a friend of mine.
But what about you?
It's cats. I hate cats.
I kind of figured you're going to say cats. That was my second choice because cats are always like, they just seem like royalty.
For no good reason.
Yeah. Oh, put the food right there. Yeah. I need love. Pet me.
Yeah. And just force themselves upon you. Like a cat would just use profanity if it could,
All right.
That's what I feel like.
My one-on-one question to you. If you were to do yoga, what would be the one pose that you would not do?
Okay. First of all, I do yoga.
Okay.
Because it's helpful as you age to stretch, and yoga gets me there. So a couple days a week, I find myself stretching, doing those things. There's this thing called the frog pose. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm not doing it. You are on all fours, and then you have to thrust your ass backwards. It's not safe for work. Anyone, if you don't Google it unless you're on your home computer or phone. It's terrible. And every time I'm in class and they say it's for the frog, I just don't do it. I just find something else to do.
You go a professional class? Like you go in there's a hot yoga?
I did, yeah. Before COVID, I would go to a class.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've just been doing it with my yogi here, Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, I'd usually be the only dude in the class.
He is the worst yogi. He's great. First off, he's great.
Yeah.
As far as just relaxation,
yogi. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like his relaxation, Hulker off. It's like, DDP.
Yeah, DDP gets up and has a Boilermaker and then probably does a line and then jumps into the yoga. That's him relaxing. Yeah.
Arms out to a T and Hulk it up.
Like... Yeah, and all those things are great. All the moves are the same. And I notice when I don't do it, but it's not. Like, listen, I'm telling you, the frog pose is not the one for you.
The frog pose? Oh my gosh. All right. Wow. Hey, this brings episode 17 to an end?
17 to a close. Thanks again, Flyers. We appreciate it. Sorry if I botched your lager to IPA standard, but that's what I heard you say while I was listening to you.
Were you having a Boilermaker at that time?
No.
You might have got it skewed.
No, I was having just a porter at that point. Because Tony makes the best porter in the world. I'm not giving mince words with anybody.
There we go. Man.
Pacemaker porter is top shelf, Tony. Thank you for creating it.
Tony, you should send me some at some point. when I go down to the States.
I got a plan. We'll work it out.
Listen, guys, I just wanted to say be safe out there this holiday weekend. Don't do anything crazy. Come back in one piece.
Hey, be good or be good at it.
Righto.
You've listened to the podcast, but now it's time to visit us in our virtual sports bar. Get all of our info at guysbeersports.com, where you can find all the ways to connect with us. Watch for live conversations with Brad and Sean that happen throughout the week, and join in with your favorite local beer. You can share your thoughts in the conversation comments with your own uploaded videos, or even join us as a guest live commentator. The GBS Virtual Sports Bar is open for business. Come on in, boys and girls.